Life on Paper. I am Brianna. Thank you so much for joining me. This is Mixed Media Mayhem, also known as Get Brianna Out of Her Box, because she's a little bit, not scared, nervous of mixed media. I see these gorgeous pictures. So you will be seeing the scrapbook layout that we will lift, and I believe this is by Rebecca Moore, and it is just gorgeous. It has things going on around the page. It has this cluster here. I'm going to do my version of it and hope to do it a little bit of justice. I'm starting off with 2 pictures of myself and my husband New Year's Eve. I trimmed them down a lot. You can tell she's got probably a wallet-sized photo. I have 2 that I wanted to use. This one, I don't know if you can read it, but it was on one of the buildings in Chicago. Healthy, happy 2023. And we can overlap this. This is a photo of us, New Year's Eve in Chicago. I cut it down to 3 by 5. That looks skinnier than 3 by 5. Oh, because 3.5 by 5.5 might be a size. So 3 by 5 is what that is. It's going to be over here. I have a whole bunch of goodies, have no idea what I'm going to use. Probably not this bright purple color, but I do have my Distress Oxides, Stormy Sky, Wilted Violet, Weathered Wood, Faded Jeans, and Seedless Preserves, which is more apt to be used. And I might grab some more. That's just kind of what I started off with. I also went into my Spectrum Sherbet collection. So I've got some rub-ons. And I tried to, these are a little more greeny, but you never know. So I like to have, enough to play with. These are probably closer to the color I'm thinking of. I have one of the laser cuts. I also have some of the essential film strips. I pulled out, I think this is Mariner, and a little bit of this purple again. This is, I believe, I shouldn't even guess. It's Eggplant. And then I have Essential Text Blends Mariner Rub-On Transfers. I'm not going to try to necessarily cheat with the mixed media, but enhance the mixed media. And I'm sticking to it. This is, I have not used yet, I don't think, a stencil by Tim Holtz. It kind of looks like the burlap like she's got on her layout. And so I think I'm going to use this. I believe it's burlap. So I don't know if it has a name. Does it have a name? Layering Stampers Anonymous Tim Holtz Collection. I'm calling it burlap. There you go. All right, the last thing, not the last thing, I'll pull out more stuff. This is Tim Holtz watercolor pencils. Now I've seen other people use them. This is the first time I'm using it. There are some gorgeous colors in here. And I have a spray bottle near me. I have some paint brushes if I need them. I'm excited to get into these, start using them, get used to them, figure out how they work, and use them. So what I am going to do is figure these things out, but let's get scrapping. This was a fun one and wasn't as anxiety provoking as I thought, but I gotta tell you, I did not use a lot of those things that I showed you in the beginning. So I go and I pull out my watercolors. I got these on Amazon. I love them. I got them for my Bible journaling. They're very nice. And I kind of sample some colors. I have what I'm using right there is a dry baby wipe. It's just what I had nearby. So I look to see what colors I might use. And then there's black. Don't use black. And it was just kind of trial and error. And I'm happy with how it turned out. To do it differently, to do it again, I would probably do it differently. So I really needed more water, I think, to give it more of a watercolor look. And I ended up with 3 different colors, which turns out good. It just isn't like the scrap lift that we're doing here. So I do get that. They're beautiful colors. It's that kind of tealy color. It's a kind of a blue, pretty, I don't even know what color you would call that, but a pretty blue color. And then the purple, because I have purple in my photo. And I I just kind of spread them around as I see and just keep layering up and trying to get more water in there to give it the more watercolor look, and just kind of have fun and go with the flow, which isn't always easy for me to do. I think with mixed media, I'm always afraid of kind of messing something up, which you really shouldn't be, because well, first of all, mixed media can be very forgiving. You can just do it again. Heck, I could use this, I wouldn't have had to use this as this layout. I could have totally used it for a different layout, started again with one color. It's forgiving and versatile, and you get to try again. While as it dries, it does creep up, it kind of crinkles on the corners. I know Janet from Galaxy Girl Creations, she puts she has like kind of foam board that she'll tape hers to get them to lay flat. I have some foam board. I am going to get that set up. I haven't yet. Here is where I think, oh, I really need, so you saw me kind of wiping it up with the baby wipe, kind of like you would with paper towels, and I think, oh, we could soften this up with the packaging technique. So I put more watercolor on this packaging, and then I kind of go around the outside with all the different colors, and that helps me feel like I've got more of the vibe of the scrap lift. And I just keep going around and getting more on there until I'm feeling like I'm happy with it. And just playing around and seeing what works. And it didn't take me, I don't think it took me very long to do this. Not as long as I thought it was going to take me to do this, honestly. And it didn't even take me that long. It didn't take that long to dry. So for mixed media, for me, it was a quick project, a quick layout to do. I'm squirting water at the bottom to kind of wash off my brush. I don't have a bowl of water or anything to kind of wash between colors, and mixing them isn't that bad either. Here I think I'm getting to the end and thinking, well, how is this going to look? What am I doing next? And I end up using this stencil, and I didn't show you this before, but it is Ice Berry from Vicky Boutin. It's like a paste. I have them in several different colors, and this blue just goes with everything else. So I get some of that down, and honestly, off camera, I realize that there should be some to the left and to the right. And so off camera, I will be putting some off to the left and to the right, and you will never see the stuff that's off to the right, because there it is. Because I have two photos, and they're going to overlap that, but that's okay too. That happens with mixed media a lot. You get her all down, and then you cover it up. So I backed them with the white matting, just like you see in the original layout. And then I've gone ahead and with Spectrum Sherbet papers, I cut out the top of the tags, and I took a marker and I kind of outlined them like you see in the layout. And then I place those around. I still want to see my mixed media, so I try to kind of finagle them a little bit so that you can see. Here's another white tag that goes on the bottom. I had outlined that one as well. And the white one was my pattern, really. I cut it out of white paper, and then I made sure it was the right size, and then I traced the other two. So here's some wood veneer. I think I got it from Joann's. I tried several different things with it. First, I was going to use that watercolor pencil to do the lines of the title. I abandoned ship on that one. That was not going to work. Then I was going to use my Nuvo drop to outline the title. That did not work. I wiped that off, and then I just went in with the same watercolor. Here are my Spectrum Sherbet rub-ons that are amazing. And you saw me looking at several different colored ones. There was one that was actually, I think, darker and a better match, but somehow this just seemed to go better. I don't know how, I can't even put that into words. I'm not an artist. I haven't taken art classes, but even though one matched the colors better, this one maybe is standing out and just looks more appropriate. And I love the way these look. They rubbed over, even over the mixed media, not only the paint, but the stencil butter as well. And I had no problems with it going over that texture at all. The next thing I do is take those same leaves, similar leaves, and put them up in the right corner by where the wood grain title is. And because I should have just taken off the wood grain title right away, it was not easy to do the rubbing around it, underneath it. And so if you look closely at the end photos, you will see one of those leaves is a little bit off because I rub it down, pick it up completely, which I never do with a rub on, miss a couple spots, and then have to piece it back together, and didn't do a great job. But that was user error. That was not because of the rub-ons at all. So and with the mixed media going on, there's so much going on, I don't know that you're going to notice it anyway, but I know it's there. So there you go. That's where I go back in and try to line things up. By this time, I'm like, just take it off. Just take it off. And I did use ATG to stick down that wood grain title, and it works fine. And actually, because I was getting it off, I was glad I didn't use wet glue, or I wouldn't have been able to get it off to get that rub on down underneath there. And there you go. So then the wood grain title goes back on, and that one leaf I end up using in another cluster on the bottom. And instead of the butterflies that are like on the layout, the scrapbook or the scrap lift that we're doing, I'm using tickets and stamps. So I go into my Spectrum Sherbet and I pull out the blues, and I find not only the stamp ticket, but a stamp as well. And then the stamps go up on foam tape, give them a little bit of a lift, and I layer those onto the layout, and just gives it a little something extra in my same color. Boy, what's the word I want? Combination, genre, something like that. And I think we're getting to the end. I did use some kind of jute for my tag ties. There goes the little bit, the leaf that I have left. Make sure that you check out everybody else that's playing along with Mixed Media Mayhem on the last Friday of the month. A layout gets thrown out there to everybody to lift. These are some postage stamps that I got on Amazon, and so I pick out 3 different ones. And I'm not sure how this is going to work, and I take a little time getting the right ones. One says, "You are my reason to be." One is just like the cancellation stamp, and one says, "Always loved, always." And what I did was I went and got my Catherine Pooler ink. It is All That Jazz is the color, and I just went into one spot where I thought, if it really screws up, it's not going to be that noticeable. So I stamped it first on the same color or similar color as what that teal is. And then I decided, oh, that looks good. So then that's how I went around. Instead, she's got the numbers stamped out. And I just use these stamps. But I'm super happy with how this turns out. A great New Year's Eve layout. I would totally do this again. And I had a great time. So check out everybody that's playing along below. Subscribe to me. Check out to see if you're subscribed or not. Sometimes YouTube unsubscribes you. So check that out. Thank you to all my subscribers, and I hope you have a fabulous day.